The all-American half pound, 2 pure beef patties, lettuce, tomato.
Singles going steady.
This is Singles Going Steady, the podcast dedicated to exploring great singles with a particular eye to the punk, new wave, and DIY eras of the last century. I'm Adrienne Meddock.
And I'm Steve McGowan. We are in a band called The Beef People, who recorded a single in 1986 on our own label, Zub Records. We are record collectors and passionate especially about the expression and manifestation of pop music perfection that we call the single recording. Exploring the mystery of what makes a great single is what propelled us to begin this podcast.
So this is episode 016. 016. It's not a very sexy single. There are sexy singles we would have, but this is not one of them. Yes,
definitely. But this is actually an EP single, or actually an EP, not a 45. It's at 33 1/3 RPM. It's by a Boston band called The Neats. It's on Ace of Hearts Records, AHS 1009. It's released in 1982, and it's called The Monkey's Head in the Corner of the Room by The Neats from Boston. This is what we'll be talking about today.
So, what are we talking about in terms of timing? When did this come out?
Well, right in 1982, we were putting this in perspective. This was about the time REM was blowing up. The Chronic Town EP had been released in August of 82, and they were pretty much the buzz of the music indie world. They were the music indie world, really, in America.
Yeah.
And in 1982, they were the band that was doing things that nobody else was doing. And I like to think of the Neats as kind of a northern version of REM. They don't use distortion. It's all kind of clear,
crystalline kind of. I was struck at how sparkling it was.
Yes.
And in some ways, just going back and listening at it's been years since I've listened to the Neats.
Right.
Unfortunately, I should have been listening to them, but very spare and. But it just crystalline, clear.
They don't hide behind the distortion pedals.
Exactly.
Right. And everything is out there. It is clear and crisp, and also in a weird way murky. They use a little bit of reverb, and the songs are excellent. The voice is great. A tight little band. And we are going to listen to the first song on the EP, which is a big favorite of Adrienne and I. The song is called Red and Gray by The Neats, Monkey's Head in the Corner of the Room, 1982. Let's listen to a little bit of it right now.
goes to sleep and thinks of things
Okay, that was the Neats, Red and Gray, great song. In the Beef People, as we were learning how to play, the Neats were a big influence. They used a lot of kind of trebly thin guitars, and I had guitars like that, and they used Vox amps, and I always had a big Vox amp collection. We definitely emulated their sound in some ways, and they were a big influence on us. The simple yet economical songwriting, good lyrics, very imaginative,
kind of introspective. I think
yes.
It's like, how do you tell this apart from REM?
Right.
Because I think a lot of those things could be said of REM, but
Yes.
I think REM certainly went to the jangle side
Right.
of things, and this is not jangly. It's,
No, not at all. Not at all. We took a lot from them, and we did a number of Neats covers. We did the song Ghost, which is a great song. But we also did Red and Gray, and we would like to play you just a little bit of the Beef People playing Red and Gray live. Here we go.
One of the things you might not realize about Red and Gray and influence on the Beef People, in our apartment, we painted the bathroom red and gray, in part under the influence of this song.
Absolutely. It was quite the thing at the time. This band was on an independent label from Boston called Ace of Hearts Records, which is run by one guy, Rick Hart. And the very influential indie label. They have a bunch of other bands that we'll be talking about on this podcast, bands such as Mission to Burma and our friends in Neighborhoods, the Liars, who are big, our friends at Popular Mechanics who are huge fans of the Liars and Mono Man, and bands like the Nervous Eaters that we booked. A lot of really great Boston bands. They're all pretty much New England bands. We're on Ace of Hearts Records. He was known for having very high quality standards on the recording of the music, and especially on the sleeves. The sleeves were always good, thick cardstock, full color, very artfully done, tastefully done. If you have a collection of Ace of Hearts singles, you've got some really cool objects as well as cool things to listen
very
to.
Beautiful design, and we're looking at the single that we didn't play
single,
for you,
right? Caribou,
and it's a really great idea for the photo. Is it's just repeated posters, so it looks like it's wallpaper and also floor covering,
Right.
but it's very much influenced by like Stuart Davis and some of like Bauhaus, American interpretation of the Bauhaus from the 20s. So it's very like woodcut. It's a great looking cover, and it's black and white and red posters, but a color photo of them.
Yeah, very arty, very good. Adrienne and I saw the Neats early on in their career in Chapel Hill at a place we're not quite sure we remember where it was.
It might be the local 506. It was upstairs, is what you remember.
It was definitely
That's
upstairs.
Definitely an upstairs club.
Yeah, and they were very good. They're very preppy looking bunch at the time, chinos and button-down shirts, and not very rock and roll looking at all.
Vampire Weekend before Vampire Weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. And they just came up and they did their thing, and they had it. It was a very enjoyable show. It was a long time ago, but later on, the Neats would they would go to Coyote Records, and they'd grow their hair long and start wearing leather jackets, and they became sort of bluesier band, more influenced by like Southern rock and Zeppelin-y type stuff. And it, in my opinion, it wasn't as good, although they had a few good songs. But the earlier version of the band...
Not your thing. Not your
thing.
thing.
Not me personally.
Did not speak to you.
No. Especially after, I mean, I kind of understand that they probably couldn't do the same thing over and over and over. Neither did REM. But they were just a great band to see live. We were lucky to catch them here. And we're going to play you another song off the EP, play you a little bit of the title song of the EP. It's called The Monkey's Head in the Corner of the Room, and it is by the Neats, 1982, Ace of Hearts Records.
The Neats definitely have that Ace of Hearts attitude, which is, there's the CD that's the compilation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That would be great for them to get called.
Yeah, The Wasted Years. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit.
And I think you can see that none of the bands sound exactly like each other, but they carry this sort of spirit of take no crap, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is how we do it.
Very Boston kind of, wicked good sort of thing.
Yeah, and everyone's wicked good in a slightly different way. And I think, there's no mistaking them for each other, but they have that sort of tattoo across their forehead, that they're Ace of Hearts. Yeah.
This is a great record. It is kind of hard to find. I believe that Ace of Hearts has released a CD with all the neat stuff on it from the Ace of Hearts years, so you could look that one up if you don't have this record. You should try to get it. It's a very good listen, very interesting stuff, and stuff that's kind of passed a lot of people by. I did read somewhere once that the Neats almost signed to Slash Records, so they would have been label mates with X. That would have been interesting, but they opted to stay with the hometown team, and they did well with that, I think. Any other final thoughts on the Neats?
I think contemporaries with REM, but not influenced by REM. No. But they are their own thing.
Yeah.
But I think if you're interested in sort of that early '80s indie scene, you should definitely check out the Neats.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear anybody covering this besides us? And not Bette Midler.
Yeah, Bette can do everything.
Yeah. Or Ringo.
Yeah. I brought up Vampire Weekend.
Yeah,
maybe that would be an interesting interpretation.
I think that would be a great. Yeah, I'd love to hear that. Them do any neat song. So, do we have any recommendations, Adrienne, or is it my turn?
I think you have one, and I'm going to make up one.
All right, good. My recommendation for this week is going back to Ace of Hearts Records. They do have a fine compilation available. It's called The Wasted Years, and it has some of the great A-sides from the Neats, Mission of Burma, The Liars, a bunch of other bands that you may or may not know. It's a great little package, a good little snapshot of what the label was doing. It's available. I know you can get it directly from them and wherever, hopefully at your local music store. And The Wasted Years, Ace of Hearts Records, has Neighborhoods on it too. We love the Neighborhoods. And I would check that out. I would definitely check that out and get a little taste of what was happening in up there by that dirty water.
Well, I don't think I can improve on that, so ditto.
Okay, so we got a double recommendation for that today. So that's going to be our podcast for today, number 016, The Neats, The Monkey's Head in the Corner of the Room EP, a fabulous little slice of early indie rock. We love it. You'll love it. Check it out. And until the next time, we'd like to say it's been good talking with you, and thanks a lot.
See you next time.
Bye now.
To learn more about the artists and recordings we just talked about, visit our website at zubrecords.com and click on the Singles Going Steady icon.
You'll also find links to the persons, places, and things we recommend, and much more.
You can find episodes of Singles Going Steady on our website or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Singles Going Steady is brought to you by the power and majesty of Zub Records.
Zub Records. Smart sounds for sharp people.